This is Due by Friday, a weekly challenge podcast with Merlin Mann, Alex Cox, and Max Temkin.
That's me.
This week's challenge, buy a bag.
Hi, Merlin.
Hi, buddy. How's it going?
Do you have your mystery box?
Yep.
Oh, thank
Oh,
God.
wow.
Okay, Alex and I were so sure
You keep asking me, and I keep telling you.
We thought you were going to leave. We
We
thought you were going to leave it at home.
Wait, do you have it in the office next to you?
Oh my God! Guess what else I brought?
Oh, yeah.
What?
Now, did I get you that one too? Did you get the black one? Did I send you that one too?
What are you guys
I
talking
sent you
about?
the Swiss one, and I
You
I
did?
sent you the silver one.
What are you guys talking about?
I sent you guys switchblades.
knife.
Remember?
My knives. Oh, I need to go get my new bag. I'll be right back.
Listen to this one.
Can I go get my new bag? I
Yes,
forgot it.
yes,
Yes,
please.
get your bag. Listen,
Don't start without me. Just sit there silently. Just sit there
just
silently.
go do your work.
But wait, will you guys promise me that you're going to sit
Oh
here
my
silently?
God.
Yep.
Go get the listen.
Complete
I don't want to miss any
silence.
jokes.
Stop talking over my flick.
Complete silence.
Okay, it's a good flick, but do you hear what I'm saying? I don't want you guys to make any flicks. No jokes. I don't want to miss it. Okay?
Try harder.
Okay, I'll be right back. Just sit there quietly. Go into like a rest mode until I come back.
I still haven't looked at Max's FAQs. Anything else I want to say about Max? Max didn't think my joke was funny, and he was wrong. I made a very funny joke.
Was this the discourse that was happening on Twitter that I vaguely saw, and then I'm like, I made
an arch situationist remark, and then Marco took the time to tell me that it wasn't funny, and then I explained to him how it was.
Wait,
He
Marco
was
or Max?
wrong. It's okay. I mean, differing humorists can have honest disagreements.
True. Oh, I've cut myself. Oh dear.
God, listen to that thing. Oh man, I changed mics for one day, and now I'm back. I changed mics. I couldn't stand it.
I heard that on your other program. You've got the.
Are you there, Alexandra?
I am.
Alexandra?
Chris, can you turn me up? Am
Oh, sweet
I
Jesus!
dead?
What have they done with her?
The
Hey, everybody. This is
I'm
Merlin.
here.
Welcome to Due by
I'm
Friday.
Here. I'm
A
here.
weekly challenge podcast where people don't talk to me or respond to me or tell me
here.
when to talk or not to talk. This is my knife.
here.
There are many like it, but really clicking on all cylinders today, aren't we? Things going well over there on Elston Ave. You guys are really kicking it into high gear. I was here at quarter till. This is addressed in an upcoming issue of the Reconcilable Differences podcast.
The lack of preparedness, as you would say.
No. You guys are the
Oh, I'm
worst.
back.
No,
I'm back.
I talked to John Siracusa about how the importance, whether he thinks punctuality is important, and then we ended up having a very interesting discussion based on a question of mine that I have been pondering: Is the demand for punctuality? Does the demand for punctuality come out of a form of privilege?
Yes.
I think it might.
Well, you guys
Do you think it does?
just kept going without me, huh?
No.
We were on sleep mode. We were in nap breast.
I was just playing with knives, and I've now made myself bleed twice.
Did you hear that? Listen
Yeah.
to that Kershaw. buddy.
Are you playing the knife game over there?
Yeah,
Alex has really
no,
sliced
no.
herself up over here.
What are you doing?
I'm just pouring blood into the microphone.
Did you get your card fixed?
Card?
They
Oh,
shut off your card for buying wine at a museum. You talked about it on the internet. Did it
I
get
know
fixed?
that was a mistake. No, it has not been fixed.
Are we talking about our tweets now? Because Merlin, I have a lot
my
of questions for you. I have a
Yeah,
lot
sure,
of
buddy.
questions.
Anything you want to ask? This is
What-
about your FAQ.
What is the could you explain
Yes.
the Harry, Ron, and Hermione? So it's 3 people on cable news, and you're like 10 points to Gryffindor.
Mm-hmm.
What is the joke? Is the joke that you thought that they looked like Harry, Ron, and Hermione all lined up on CNN like that?
It was MSNBC. I don't know if it was a joke. It was a situationist observation.
But you thought that that was basically that's the observation is these look like the Harry Potter characters.
I don't think they looked like the Harry Potter characters. I think in a slightly alternate universe, an alien could see that on TV and think that that was a version of our Hogwarts friends. Because Harry would probably get surgery for the lightning bolt at some point, and he would most def wear contacts on TV.
But it didn't make any sense.
contact
I
lenses.
shaves. He looks about 15
I just
years
want you to
younger.
know. I just want you to know.
Yeah.
Edit this all out. But I just want you to know that
No.
I stared when you
Nope.
tweeted that. I
Yeah.
stared at that picture for 10 minutes, and I was like, "What am I missing?" And I was looking
Were you
at the
having some kind of an edible?
and I was like looking at the background, and I was like, "Is there something in here that I missed? Is there a Harry Potter reference in here?"
Really
And then I
makes
was
you
like,
think.
"Why would Merlin
Yeah.
have tweeted this?" And then you did a whole follow-up tweet about how nobody liked it, and you had to get a pity fave from your special lady friend.
That was not what I said. That was something that a millennium could infer. No, it was more that yeah, my wife had pity faved it, but it was still a very funny bit, and a smart crowd would have gotten it. And by the way, if you want to use that card, just PayPal me.
I saw it and I was like, Harry Potter. Ha ha ha. They look like Harry Potter.
10 points to Gryffindor would not. It's a genre of Cards Against Humanity card that we call an interrupter or an interrupting cow, and meaning it does not grammatically interact with the black card. It's just sort of a surprising thing to happen. And
It's almost like I don't work there or something.
and well, you're
So
the
it's
one
almost
asking.
like I could have taken your,
Oh my
your,
God,
your
Merlin's-
thing and extended it from my own joke. almost.
Merlin's full of piss and vinegar this morning. What did
Yeah.
I?
Me?
What did we do?
Oh.
We just showed up,
No,
sort
I'm
of.
good. I was here 15 minutes early, but I've got my knife. This is the one true knife. This is the Kershaw you want. You hearing that? You hearing how decisive that is?
Which is which? The Swiss Army one is the one that I like the most.
The Swiss Army
yes.
one is bad. Now that is the purportedly, supposedly official Swiss Army knife of the literal Swiss Army, and it's got that little hole for you to use your thumb to open it up. And then I think I sent you the Kershaw, the silverish one.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's one that just made me bleed.
Knife is almost a little too sharp. It almost scares me.
It's a little too sharp. Faux show. I got a Japanese tool that my family uses for opening our Amazon boxes, and that's got a blunt end but a roughly serrated edge, and it's great for opening boxes. And it's not pokey; it's just Sharpie.
Yes, we. I made my work brother Tom put that into our convention budget because we open a lot of Amazon/cardboard boxes, and it was great. Thank you for the recommendation.
Now, when I was in college, I think it was my freshman year of college, the show Lost came out, and in the first season of Lost, there's this character John Locke. And there was a big plot point in Lost was that he was this guy who was before you knew his whole backstory, he was this badass guy, and he threw a knife at one point into like a piece of luggage, and he was the sort of survivalist in the group that was going to like kill a pig and like help everyone survive and make it on the island. And I was watching that and I was like, I should get a knife and learn how to survive in the woods because, you know.
That sounds so much like something I would do while I'm eating potato chips in reclined position.
Yeah, well, I mean, yeah, I was just like,
I should get a knife and learn how to survive in the wild.
just bong water spilled on my pants, just crumbs everywhere.
Then they'd respect me.
Yeah, it was like 50% of my time was trying to figure out how to convert the money on my school card that my parents had given me for textbooks, how to convert that into marijuana, and then the other half of my time was thinking about like ways to survive in the woods in case Lost happened to me. So I went to like Bass Pro Shop or something, and I went to the like hunting knife department, and I was like, one hunting knife, please. And I got this Gerber, this foldable Gerber blade that, in reality, it's a far worse knife than either of the ones that you sent me, but it's in that same product category.
When it's opened up, about how big is the blade? I mean, compared to the Kershaw, for example. Bigger?
It's about the same size as the Swiss Army. So what is that? About a 3-inch blade, 3 or 4 inch,
probably. Yeah.
Yeah,
I
and
like the Swiss Army doesn't have a little bit of a serration on it.
Yes, and the Gerber's half serrated and then half stabby at the front.
Yeah.
And it's interesting. I still have that blade, that Gerber knife blade, in my current house. And I keep it nice and I sharpen it and all of that, and I use it to like open, and it lives by the front door, and I use it to open packages. And I was just thinking the other day, I was like, this might be the oldest thing that I own and still use.
Oh, that's so cool.
Interesting.
Do you guys have a thing like that where you're like, not that it's like it's in a scrapbook and it's like, here's a thing I made.
No,
when
but like you're talking like in production.
it's in the
Like you're
rotation.
using it for stuff.
Yes, yeah.
I have lots of stuff like that.
What give us some
I,
examples.
Well, I have stuff like that, and I'm also kind of, I'm weirdly like nostalgic about it, where my lady is not. So we've had the same colander. It might have been the colander that she brought into our relationship in the late 90s. But we've had this old-ass colander that's like your grandma's colander sieve. I don't care. Don't email me. But it's a big, like, it's old-timey, like enamelish, with holes in it. It looks like something you'd have in a country kitchen in the 80s. Mm-hmm. And we've had that colander and used it every day. I make pasta for my daughter almost every day with that. And then finally I capitulated and I got a new one last week from Amazon because the old one was kind of gross and but I was like, meh, we've had this for so long. And so I put it on the counter. I took away the bowl and I put our produce that's usually like limes and lemons and bananas and avocados. I put it all in the colander because I thought it looked cute. When I came home, all of the produce was back in the bowl and the colander was in the trash.
Ooh.
And I said, Ma, you know, I'll never forget the day I opened the trash and there was a pair of really old, disgusting shoes in the trash. And I said aloud across the house, Ma. And she said, what? And I said, you threw away your shoes. And she said, yeah, like they're disgusting and I haven't worn them. I was like, no, you were wearing those the night I met you. Because I'm broken inside.
Oh no, my rocks.
Oh no. So now what I do is now everything that she throws out, I rescue from the trash. I bring it to
What
my
is
office.
wrong?
My God, my dad used to do that. I would
such a bad
I would
habit.
like
I'm such a
purge.
hoarder.
I would like purge, and I would fill up like contractor bags of just stuff that I was getting rid of. And then my dad at night, like a raccoon, he'd go in. He would go into the trash and he would start pulling stuff out, and I'd come back and there'd be like
my colander. She's very sick.
and there would be like leavings like in that, and I'd be like, I thought I got rid of this.
Yeah, right. Like you're being gaslighted.
Yeah.
Oh my
yeah,
God.
but like she's totally sensible about. She gets rid of stuff that nobody wants or needs. But like I have this ridiculous
like a
emotional
healthy
attachment
person.
to. Another dumb one, and then I'll pass back. Is there's this when you got a little kid and you need to wash their hair. Usually, like when they're in the little bastic, like especially then when they're in the tub and you wash their hair, you can get these
A basket of potatoes.
A basket of potatoes. You get this plastic cup, rubbery cup with a handle on it, and you use that to pour over. My daughter's been washing her own hair for 5-6 years, but it's still in the shower, and I refuse to get rid of it, and I'm sure it drives my family crazy.
It's just full of fungus.
No, I mean, I clean it out. It's got to stay nice.
So the empty shampoo
It's been
bottle,
in the shower so long that there's a fungus colony that's using it to wash its children's hair.
The circle of life. You got your knife, Alexandra? Do you have anything like that? You're a get ridder of things. Aren't
I'm
you?
a big get ridder of. I think. Well, I tried to secretly throw away some of those Funko Pops, and then
Return them to their restore them to their rightful position in the kingdom.
Exactly.
They all have the same nose. It's really frustrating.
Why
do they all have the same nose? It's so cheap.
I was about to put BMO into the trash, and
Oh, you're a monster.
I couldn't do it. And I thought,
Peeing.
oh, I'm like the rest of the Simpson family, where when Marge throws out the entire attic, and I was like, oh my God, if I threw this away, I would be chasing the garbage truck down the thing. Wait, not sure. I do also have my original iPad Mini, just because it was the first like iOS product that I had when I met my partner Maddie,
Really?
which is
Before you
so
had your
unhealthy. No, I'm sorry. My first iPad.
When you got an iPad, your first one was the
iPhone.
Mini?
Yes.
Me too, actually.
Yes.
When those came out, I thought the Mini is the right is the is
It
the.
was a terrific device. For
I thought that's
the right
maybe
size.
I wonder if both Alex and I got the Mini because you recommended it, Merlin. Did you recommend the Mini at some point?
Yeah.
The Mini was. I don't know if that's true, but it was definitely my go-to for a long time. And I mean, I feel like today, almost along the lines of kind of like the SE. Like, I know this is not going to happen because Apple sucks now and they don't do anything cool. But like, it would be so neat to have like a crazy high resolution Mini that's totally tricked out. You know, it's such a great size. My wife has the giant iPad Pro. I have the 9 and the 10, the smaller ones. But like, man, that thing was so great for just like, you did not notice it in your bag, full stop. It just, you didn't feel it. It was so light.
I had the the iPad Mini with the flippy leather cover, and it went all over the world with me for years. And I think what happened is, because when it came time to replace it, I think the Mini was still in the line, but I did go to the normal sized iPad, and I've stuck with it ever since. And I think what happened was the iPhone got bigger. And so now it's like in a pinch, the iPhone 10 is big enough that I can read a Kindle book on it, and I don't feel like a total piece of shit.
Yeah. Comics were a big factor for me because I got way back into comics and comicsology when I had the Mini. And it's just not as fun. It's not as fun to read. I mean, it's okay to zoom in, but there is something amazing about, I have to say, about reading comics on the full-size iPad Pro.
And then the other thing is the functionality of what you could do on the iPad has expanded so greatly that I really appreciate
it's easy to
the
forget
larger...
how much that thing has grown, because it's fairly glacial in terms of development. But I feel like my 10 and a half inch iPad Pro is like easily one of my favorite Apple things I've ever owned, ever.
But don't you, like, I now use, because of the various things you can do on the iPad, I use so much more screen real estate on the iPad. I mean, I'm doing split screen and I have the little video playing. It's like I am just going to town on that iPad, and I'm really using every square millimeter of that screen space, and I think I would miss it if I went to the Mini.
I mostly run down the power on 2 iPads in a day.
Wow.
Like, because I will, like, especially if I'm at home, I want to have a day called my Thursday. Usually Thursday is my Thursday. Thursday is my day when I accomplish many things. I do lots of power puttering. I do lots of turbo tidying. I have a lot of, you don't need to know this about me, but it's a day when I do lots of stuff. And one of the things I'll do is I will just leave it sometimes plugged in, but often I'll just have MSNBC running on it, and I'll walk around with the Plantronic headphones, which have impossibly long range. I don't know if you guys have those. Do you have those?
No, I have the AirPods.
Well, the Plantronic ones that Marco recommended they sound fantastic for what they are, and you can really walk around. But I'll just have MSNBC running kind of in the background, and then I might be using another iPad because I'm a rich white guy. I agree with you, Max. There's so many. Do you
remember that? Remember that article with the guy with the CEO who's like, "I've got my day iPhone and my night iPhone, and I'm so busy I need to switch."
I think he sounded like a douche, but like I think having like. I still use my old watch.
It sounded totally normal, and it was. I've gotten very close to day and night.
It got blown out of proportion.
Well,
I mean, it was bad. You know, don't you think kind of bad timing in terms of like the privilege thing?
Well, no, this was a pre-checking privilege. Ooh, maybe this was like what hashtag triggered it. Interesting.
Well, like, okay, so if I say to you, I have 2 Apple Watches, I sound like a real douche. It's douchey enough to have 1 Apple Watch, but I don't have 2 Series 3 watches. I have a Series 3. And I got my old, Series 2. And it's great. It means I can wear a watch around when the other one's charging, and then I flip it back on. And it's like, to me, that's sensible. It doesn't make me any less of a douche to stop using something and put it in a drawer. Like, I'm glad it's still in use. And, you know, I mean, I don't know. I use these things enough that I feel like they earn every nickel that I spent on them. Way more than on some services and stuff. I mean, you know what I mean? Like, there's some things you end up paying for through subscriptions. They're not nearly as valuable as this piece of hardware that does like so much.
There was a piece, I think in Wired, that I really liked about like the death of this guy's first iPad, because you just use them and use them and use them, and I've never had an iPad die, whereas I constantly kill off my iPhones, not by the infamous crack and drop that happened, but the logic board just I run it too hard, and it just kaputs.
My daughter beats the crap out of this old, not old, but by today's standards, older iPad Air 2. And it's a champ. It just works great. The battery, I mean, like, I finally convinced her to please just turn down the brightness just a little bit. Because that, I feel like, is the biggest source of battery loss. But it still works great. There's nothing it can't do. I mean, she doesn't need to do split screen. She doesn't need the pencils. She just wants to play Minecraft, and it works great for that.
So I got one of the new Kindles.
The
newest showcase Kindle.
Yeah, I got my lady that one for Christmas.
And it's okay. So I got it because the main feature is that it advertises that it's waterproof. Alex, you have one too, right?
Oh, I'm pulling it out of something right now. Don't want to spoil the challenge.
Is that the newest one?
Yes.
Is it? Okay. So it's waterproof, and I got really excited about that because I take a bath with my Kindle all the time, and I've run through a couple of the Kindle Paperwhites because I got like steam under the screen, basically.
Yep.
But on mine, I'm getting like a bubbling, and the screen is the back plate is separating off of the front plate, and there's a little.
What?
I can see a little hairline gap in the like where it's supposed to meet, and I'm worried that means it's not waterproof anymore.
Well,
should I? What do I do?
Plastic bag it like Bezos.
Water resistant?
I think no. I believe it is. It's advertised. If you go on Amazon, there's an attractive lady in a hot tub overlooking
It's got little
a beach.
beads of water on it, which is how you know that it can go.
I love Sylvia Plath. You can tell I love poems because I put them on my body.
Yeah, it's water and oven proof.
Oh my god.
Anyway, it's got beads.
Oh my God! Wait a minute. That was funny. That's a Ted Hughes joke. That was good.
It's got
you get a ding for that.
Thank you. It's got.
Okay, you're forgiven for not thinking.
I thought that was an original joke Max made. Thanks for ruining it.
It's got.
Mine always was Sylvia. What's for dinner?
Oh.
Hold for life. You do not do, brown shoe.
Anyway, it's got.
That's my Sylvia Plath impersonation.
You know that if you see a product and it's got little beads of water on it, that it's either waterproof or refreshing.
That's true. That's true. That's true.
So it's like, man, have we talked about this? If I'm driving down the highway and I see an ad for Diet Coke or Coca-Cola and there's beads of water on it, a cold glass of Coke with beads of water on it, I'm just an animal at that point. Like I just like something in my brain. The switch flips in my brain. And I'm like, I cannot think about anything. Like my life cannot proceed until I get a cold Coca-Cola. Like it's just Pavlovian conditioning. Like
for sure.
If I see the dew on the glass, like fuck
That's
everything.
so interesting because, okay, do you guys get this? Oh, I got a lot to say about my movie theater. I'm so fucking mad. Do you ever get the ad before movies? They have lots of Coke ads. Do you get lots of Coke ads? It might be AMC, it might be Cinemark.
Yeah, there's a vaguely disturbing carnival-esque CGI like Circus Maximus where there's like a talking hot dog that's ripped apart by the crowd.
But there's the one though where like, oh look, it's a big Coke being poured.
Well, what theater is this? I'm thinking of the like red emojis that don't really have faces. They just have various glasses and a mouth.
It's a very like persecution of the Christians thing at the theater that I go to because I feel like there's all these like a popcorn where his head explodes and they're like, impaling the Christians and feeding them to the lions.
I don't like that style of advertising. It's very troubling to me. But there's the one that's right. It's usually the one right before. It's the typical "let's all go to the lobby." But in this case, it's right before the previews roll, and it's like bloop, 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 bloop. Ice cubes drop on the screen, and then a big Coke is poured. And I find it very upsetting. I don't like it at all. I don't like the big "you're living in a glass of Coke." That one I don't like at all. And then pop, 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 popcorn.
Well, what
Disgusting.
fantasy is that? What message is that to the consumer of like, hey, don't you wish you were inside the Coca-Cola?
Oh, you're
like,
a bad popcorn boy.
but no, it would be sticky and cold. Like I want to drink it, but I don't want to be inside of it.
People have very confused ideas about why we consume things. Ooh, I want to be the pork loin.
Hey, speaking of movie theaters, can I plug something real quick to the
you can,
to do
and then I want to
audience?
bitch about the no backpack policy at Cinemark.
Okay,
Ooh,
so we have our final Cards Against Humanity late night writers' room live show in Chicago at the Greenhouse Theater in Chicago. We're gonna keep doing the show, but we're gonna take some time off and it's gonna move to.
Is this
some
the thing
new
this
theaters.
week, this Friday?
Yes.
It is this Friday.
This is so exciting, Max.
Yeah,
I saw this.
I'm very excited about it. So we scheduled this. The show is very, very good, and most comedy shows I think are bad, but ours is great. And
agreed.
It's very, very funny, and we foolishly scheduled this show like months ago, and it happens to be the opening weekend of the opening night of the Avengers, and we are really having a hell of a time selling this show out. We usually sell the Greenhouse Theater out, but we just cannot get this done. So we actually went ahead and bought out a movie theater at the Logan Theater. So we have an entire movie theater where here's what's going to happen. If you come see the Cards Late Night Writers Room show, we're going to watch the show, we're going to have a great time, and then we're all going to go to the Logan Theater and we're going to go to a private showing of the Avengers and we're all going to watch it together. Like Andy Kaufman, okay? So
Oh my God.
fuck you, Marvel. You won. I hope you're happy. We bought out a theater, so please just come see our goddamn comedy show, and we will take you on us for free. We will take you to see a private showing of the Avengers, and you can come watch it with us, but just please come to our comedy show, and you can go to, I believe it's cardsagainsthumanity.com/Chicago to find out where to get tickets to that show. And it's going to be a really good show, and we're all going to watch the Avengers together. So just please come, please.
cardsagainsthumanity.com/Chicago.
Use the offer code, Gary the Time Guy.
No.
Hey,
Gerald.
Gerald. I find the best way to get free movies is to go see comedy by Gerald. Hey!
Wait.
Watches.
Gary,
Even a broken watch is right
Gary,
sometimes.
put it
Gerald
in your
here.
No,
My tip of the week is to own two Apple Watches.
No.
One is
Oh my
charging
God.
where the other one on your wrist.
If you're a fan of the official Do by Friday artist, Kevin Budnick, he's also going to be one of the co-hosts. So, yay.
Yeah.
Why would you mention that, Alex?
Why not? Because a lot of people come to I don't know. I was just really
You just
stressed
did a mental
out.
pivot that's going to confuse our audience for a few weeks.
Oh,
Anyway,
I'm bleeding all
you
over.
come out and you see some Avengers, and there's people, and the blue things are coming from their hands. It's all very exciting.
Anyway,
come for
please,
the comedy, stay for the blue hands.
please come to the card show. I think that's all. That's all we have to promote this week. And go to giveusyourfuckingmoney.com to become a premium subscriber on the Do
We
by
do
Friday
a whole
Patreon.
second show every
a whole
week.
second episode.
You should come.
I know. Now, I think most podcasts are shit, but ours is great.
Comedy sucks. Comedy's bad. Did you see the McElroys are leaving the
Yes.
Polygon?
They've been a little checked out of the Polygon stuff for a while. I think.
was not surprised.
And
How do you know these things?
Well, I know them, but I know the
wow.
well, just reading Polygon.
How do you meet people? It's so hard. It's impossible. What are you supposed to say to them? How could you ever
They
make
have
a
social
friend?
anxiety. I don't want to get too near them.
How could you ever make a friend, Merlin? It's not possible. What are you supposed to say? Hi, I want to be your friend.
Hey, it's Gerald. You got more time to wind your watch when you don't have friends, Gerald.
I love Gerald so much.
All right.
Oh, God.
Well, what am I just supposed to go out there and become friends with Jonathan Colton? It's impossible.
I bought a ticket to Isle of Dogs on the internet. It was on my phone. I showed up at my local cinema, and as soon as I walked in the door, before I could even put my thing in the scanner, the lady goes, "I'm sorry, we have a new policy for security. We do not allow any backpacks in the theater."
Well, because they don't want you to shoot it up. What if you have a gun in there?
Yeah, it's a security issue.
I mean, I've always said that the best solution for guns is to ban backpacks.
Or make them
that's
clear.
much more efficient. I call it the price of freedom. And so, I'm trying to avoid being that particular guy. You sent me live photos of Alex's hand.
Oh, no, that
bleeding.
was me.
Oh, so I can see your balls.
I didn't want to. Yeah, I know. They're just hanging
You got to
out
turn
there.
that off.
Yeah.
And so without trying to be that particular guy, I said, okay, I realize this is not your personal policy, but this is a big city where people take public transit and come from work and home and places, and everybody has a backpack. I said, I am not, you can look at my backpack. I'm not trying to smuggle anything in. I'm about to go spend $30 at the concessions. And just so you know, I'm coming in with a backpack. She said, I'm sorry, I can't. I said, okay, just give me a refund. I didn't even do the whole alas, open letter. I was just like, okay, fine, give me a refund. And then she's like, well, I can't. I was like, forget about it. Just rip up the ticket. I'll see you later. And she's like, you can come in. You can come in this one time. And I was like, I appreciate that. Thank you very much. But it made me mad. That's frustrating to me. It's so provincial.
Were you alone? Were you with your child? Yeah. You were alone.
Yeah, and I had a butt of a gun sticking out, but
I mean, I think a middle-aged white guy alone going into a movie theater with a backpack is a little bit suspicious, because I would say that either you're going to shoot up the theater or kidnap a child.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, right. That's why I have such a big backpack. I should get one of those Synapse. Synapse 19? You could only fit a very.
But
small
I'm just saying,
child
Merlin. I would be very concerned if I saw a middle-aged white guy with a backpack walking towards me. I walk on the other side of the street.
White guys with backpacks are San Francisco. That's the whole city.
Were you riding one of those little Sparrow scooters in?
I'll just leave it anywhere. Boy, that really gives a bad name to the other Scoot people, doesn't it?
They're bringing.
And apparently it happened. So what we're talking about here is these apparently 3 different companies. My wife knows more about this than I do. It's a huge fucking issue in San Francisco. I did not know about this until a week or two ago, where they said, finally, okay, there's these 3 companies, and here's their business model. You get an electric Scoot, and you leave it fucking wherever. And I guess they come and clean it up for you because you're busy with your work.
They're bringing these.
My wife works over by the ballpark, and she said it is a menace. She says there are scooters everywhere. People just leave them on the sidewalk. There's just scooters. There's like Razor scooters with engines everywhere.
Oh my God.
I think that they're coming to Chicago, and they've already been spotted in Chicago. And I think if I start seeing them, I'm going to put them in the back of my trunk. And now if you move it and you're not paying for it, it starts to yell at you. It's like, put me down immediately or I'll call the police. Please.
Yeah, you posted a video of that. That was, you retweeted a video.
Unhand me immediately or I will call the police. And I really
Put me down, I'll call the police.
I sincerely doubt that these things have the capability to call the police. But my plan is I'm going to start scooping them up into the trunk of my car, and then I'm going to throw them in the lake.
Who's the 51-year-old man?
Go recover. Yeah,
That's mine now. That's mine now. You left it on the sidewalk.
recover your scooter now, bitch.
Well, my college was there was a rash of bike thefts because it's a college campus and people will just like walk onto campus and the first time they see an unlocked bike, they'll take it and drive away, right? And the police were very frustrated by this. They were tired of expending resources on it, so their new policy became they impounded every bike that wasn't locked on campus. Which is such an
fucking
unusual
stupid.
approach to law enforcement to me.
I had a really early lesson in life in working in institutions around a similar line that just reminded me of, which was we had a similar problem at our college of bike theft, and there was a scourge of bike theft. And what would happen is like basically I always speculated that it was not even thievery, that it was just people needed to get to one place and they would just take a bike and ride it. And so as a response, a couple of students that I was friends with started this bike share program. And they're like, let's buy 50 free bicycles for the college and put docking stations, bike racks for them.
Oh, you make
the
it like
buildings.
Dutch. You just need a bike, take a bike.
Right. And that way it's like you're not going to steal some guy's bike. You'll just have a bike if you need one, right? And
right.
the school would not approve it. We couldn't get it done because all the leadership of the school was like, well, they'll just be stolen like the other bikes. And I was like, you fucking idiots. Like that's why nothing like
that is such a I'm going to use your term like a late capitalist, like materialist, dumb idea of how the world works.
I know. It was very frustrating.
You know, it reminds me a little bit of people who have a beef about homelessness. And then, like, there are so many ways, depending on how you frame the problem, there are so many ways to quote unquote solve homelessness that to a solution will never work on their own. But they will work in terms of like, if your basic solution is, I don't like seeing homeless people, you can just hustle homeless people away. If you say go give people money, well, that's one solution, but it doesn't solve the myriad reasons that people don't have housing. You know what I'm saying?
We know this isn't a mystery. Like we actually know, we know what the solution to homelessness is, which is you just give people homes. The problem, it's actually not.
That's a big turns out, because didn't it turn out that if you gave somebody a place to live, it was actually cheaper than the social services involved in helping a homeless person?
Not only cheaper, but more long-lasting and more effective, and it completely helped them turn around their life. And it's been shown time and time again in cities that are willing to try it. But so the real problem with homelessness, like if you're trying to figure out like, well, what's the problem with homelessness? It's not like what do we do with these people? It's like why is the government unwilling to do the thing that we know that works? Homelessness is a reflection of the problem with us, which is that we're not willing to give people a home.
Partially true. But it's also, I mean, in terms of like somebody who does not want to be homeless and would like a place to live, that's absolutely true. Then there's the other giant part of the problems with mental health and drug and abuse issues. And then there's just some people who have never not been homeless, and the idea of being anywhere like a shelter or whatever freaks them out, and they don't want to be anywhere but the street. It's not going to, but there's no single swipe of the sword that's going to solve this problem in a way that makes quote unquote homelessness go away. And I think it's the people feeling daunted by that lack of a single solution that makes them settle for these half-assed measures that involve like these Giuliani measures of like just sweeping people out of the area.
Well, from everything I've read, there is a single sweep of the sword that would solve homelessness, which is you give people free homes.
Unless they don't want a home.
Well, even that, it's just like
part of the homelessness problem
percentage
is
of homeless in your little mind palace that you've constructed here? What percentage of homeless people, if you offered them a free home, would not want it?
I don't know the answer to that, but here's what I do know: is I thought I really understood this problem, and I remember hearing a really, really fascinating roundtable one morning on a local public radio show where they talked to people who are homeless advocates, people who are really deep in the trenches on this stuff. And are sometimes they're the people saying, it's really less costly and troubling to give people actual houses. I know that's a radical solution. That's definitely something they're saying. That'll fix part of the problem.
If you're a listener of this program and you're a homeless person and you don't want a free home, tweet at Hot Dogs Ladies and identify yourself, and we'll just do a little straw poll.
No, you guys, I feel like are thinking of this in a different way.
That's funny, but you're not hearing my point.
Yeah,
there is a big part of the homelessness quote unquote problem that bugs people are people who are not, they can be medicated and everything is okay for a while, but people with schizophrenia, not so much bipolar, I think there's a lot of schizophrenia and there's a lot of drug abuse, there's a lot of like physical abuse that's happened to these people, and they're real fucking troubled. And there was a case that was going on for a while in the Castro of this guy who would sleep in a doorway every night, and every time the cops would come to basically like hustle him away because he was a known problem, he would throw blood and feces at them. And then he would basically bleed, cut himself, and throw poop at them. And at that point, it becomes a biohazard. And so basically, it was for that one guy, it was costing $10,000 a month for one guy in the Castro to sleep in a doorway. And so what do you say? You're going to give that guy a free house? Well, okay, what free house are you going to give that guy? How are you going to get him treated? Mm-hmm. And that's an extreme example, but it's not that extreme.
It's not at all.
Maybe you don't have Powell Street Station like we do, but if you ever come to San Francisco and walk through Powell Street Station at 10 a.m. on a Sunday, it's going to be really fucking eye-opening about how many people are clear-eyed about where they want to live.
Well,
it's a fucking
the homeless
shit
problem
show.
in San Francisco is very different than in Chicago, I'll say. And like, what's the thing in San Francisco where people
not
want...
even getting to the whole like unavailability of most of our teachers live in other counties. Like we're not even getting near that. The principal of my kid's school lives in the East Bay.
What's the thing in San Francisco where it's like from 60s folk songs where it's like a cliche, but it's like what is the play? It's like is it like what, do you know what I'm talking about?
No.
Oh shit, maybe it's in LA. And it's where the homeless people go. Oh, fuck.
Oh, the Panhandle?
Yeah, the Panhandle. Is that it?
So like the Panhandle of Golden Gate Park is this area that comes into the beginning of the Haight-Ashbury.
That sounds right. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
the Panhandle.
And there's a McDonald's there that's like unbelievable.
Yeah,
it's
right. And that's
really
where we get the term.
scene.
That's where you get the
What
term
a pivot.
panhandler, right?
Well, no, that's
I
good.
thought
I like
that was
that.
a
Is that
state
this area
thing.
that
No,
is
I
like
think it's something
near
else.
like. But yeah, it's real rough. It's real rough, and it's a lot of very young, what we once might have called like skate rats. It's a lot of very young kids, and it's pretty wild. There's a lot of violence.
Well, that's the thing. The people who are going to be swept up, they don't want to be swept up. They are not going to go into homes. That's probably 5% of the homeless population. Most people who are homeless, you would never know because they're just folks who happen to not have homes. And they go to shelters and then they find a shower and they go to work. Those are the people who want homes. The people who are living under bridges, like Merlin said, you can't. And it might be that there's homes, but there's also hospitals. Like
They do not
hard
want to
problem.
be in any system.
Exactly, and it's a weird line to cross because it's like, do you force someone into I hate to use the word institution, but it's hard enough to get people who have sane, supportive families into a hospital. So how are you going to do that to someone who disappears around the city every day?
I think you guys are possibly not thinking correctly of the scope of the homelessness problem in America. I mean, yes,
We're not, or you're not.
No,
you
you're
sound
not.
like a Dickens character who thinks that all we have to do is open some doors and
Well,
we'll
I
solve
don't.
this.
I don't think that decades of social science research thinks that. But
Okay.
all I'm saying is like you guys are thinking of like crazy people who like live on the street and need like tons of mental health assistance. I'm thinking of the huge number of Americans that
like
don't
people who live in their car.
that do not have a place to live.
Exactly. We are agreeing on that.
Yeah, okay.
Yes.
People who live in their car and like shower at the Y
Exactly.
or something.
Or they have a million variety of creative solutions of how to get by. But I'm not thinking of the guy who throws feces at the police and sleeps in a doorway. I actually think if you want to talk about the scope of the homelessness problem in America, that's an outlier. That is not representative
It's
of.
not an outlier. Oh, I see what you're saying in terms of the raw tonnage of invisible
Yes.
homelessness. You mean?
Correct.
Yeah,
Correct.
okay. I'll come to that.
and also
I have a different viewport just because of what this city is like.
Sure.
It varies from city to city. Like there aren't.
Well, and then you've got those guys asking for money off the side of the highway, and they make $60,000 a year. So what are you going to give them a free house?
Deal with that. I should quit my job.
Oh, yeah.
I have a job.
No, by the way, the place I was trying to remember, it's in downtown Los Angeles. It is, it's like east of Main Street, and there's a place where there's tons of homeless people. And I remember driving or walking by there with someone. I was like, "What is up with this?" And they're like, "Oh, that's Skid Row." And I was like, "No, but what do you mean?" And they're like,
yeah.
No, that's the Skid Row.
Wow.
Yeah, that's a
Ooh.
real place. That's not a saying. That's like a place in Los Angeles.
Oh man.
Oh, yeah, it's for sure a real place. Yeah.
5,000 to 8,000 homeless people live there in Los Angeles. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm sure all those people need. There's a variety of ways that they need help. And
I think we're kind of talking around the same thing.
Yeah,
I
maybe.
agree with you. What you're saying is like people who, I think part of the invisibility, like for example, there's a street. There's so much like folk wisdom that you learn, like when you live somewhere and like when you're getting by somewhere. Like there's a cross street near my house where they very rarely ticket even for small campers. And for years and years and years, it was a place where as soon as the street cleaners had come through, people would just go. And that's where they lived for 5 days. or 7 days, and they would just put their camper there. And you see them come in and out, emptying bottles, and like, but that was a place where like, so that I'm describing that here as being like kind of a stage. It's not the same as having a single family house that you bought with your army money. You go down from that to apartments. You get down to SROs, right? So like if you go to the area here called the Tenderloin, there's a lot of SROs where it's basically like it's like a hobo hotel. Like people go and like just it's a night to night in some cases, or sometimes month to month. You go down from that, and now there are a lot of people who live in a car. I think probably in someplace like LA, I think that's really like a thing. So I think when you're talking about that, Max, I mean, I totally agree. I mean that if there was a system for making it easy for people to transition, I think they would do that. I think part of it is, and I can't speak for this because I know I don't care for systems myself, but I think a lot of those folks, even the ones who are COPUS, are like not. They're so scared of those systems and how close they are to like being disappeared into some kind of a system.
I don't know. I think that's more. I think that's a movie character that you're talking about, and not a real. I mean, if you think if you look at think of 8,000 people on Skid Row in Los Angeles, and let's just say that the city had a program where they just magical. They have 8,000 homes, and they're going to give one for free to.
Let's say the eminent domain, something that could have become an Ace Hotel, and instead turn it into a place. Right. Where people have a safe room to sleep in.
Right, and they go to all 8,000 people and like, hey, here's a home. I'm not even thinking of like a hotel situation. I'm thinking of a house, right? So you have it's yours. It's a house. There's places in Chicago that do this. They just give homes to homeless people, and they in that way they solve the homelessness problem. Now, would some of those 8,000 people not do it, and would they be like they're not constitutionally able to sort of understand what's happening and take the house or whatever? Yeah, but what percentage are we talking about? 100 people, and for the other 7,900, you completely obviate their quote unquote problem of homelessness. And yeah, do many of those people have complicated mental health and health problems and social problems and all of that? Yeah, of course. They don't have a fucking house to live in. I would too. Yeah. I would have ringworm, and I'd be going out of my mind. Like, of course. Yeah, you don't have a house. Think of how important a house is.
I think you guys are both agreeing. You guys are totally agreeing.
I mean, I'm not trying to be contradictory at all. I just think you're also you may be misapprehending how complete someone needs to feel like a solution is. It's because there are a lot of people who are going to say, let's even take your crazy number, which I think is a little bit overdone, but let's even say 100 to
Well, I'll have you know, I read it briefly on Wikipedia just now. So
those 100 people that are still out there, that are in Powell Street Station or are in the doorway of your business that you pay, $10,000 a month for, like that still is the visible face of this hasn't been fixed. And there's not enough goodness in people's hearts to say the 7,900 are being taken care of. I don't think, because they're still seeing the thing that feels like the giant problem, which is the ongoing Godspeed You Black Emperor song that is downtown San Francisco right now.
Well, I completely agree with that. And to me, that's the thing of like, well, we can't have bikes for people because they'll steal them. It's like, it's
so
like
maddening. Yeah. Are you following Horace Asimco much lately? Do you follow his stuff?
Yeah.
His stuff about bikes is fucking fascinating to me. I love his pivot to talking about car. I mean, I'm sorry, I get email about this, but I love his pivot to talking about options that aren't cars, and it's so goddamn fascinating.
Oh, challenge.
He posts so much stuff that's basically about like, well, here's a bunch of numbers, here's some numbers and graphs for sure, but then here's a bunch of anecdotal stuff, and here's some photographs, and here's what happens when we change the way red lights work. His entire comprehensive approach to like letting cars run the town in a 1949 kind of way is just not sustainable for a human city.
And the way he puts the data together, it like makes a big dummy like me understand it and feel motivated to do something about it. It's so interesting.
Just even things like there's that one he sometimes posts that's about like the market share and efficiency of things all the way from walking to a jet. And I don't know. I think it's. I mostly I don't follow him, but I catch it sometimes in like Twitter moments, and I just think it's really fascinating. I'm with you, Max. Are you the one? Somebody who said this? Probably somebody famous said this. That if the aliens came here and looked down at any large city in America, it would look like it had been designed buying 4 cars.
Oh, I think that was famous podcast host Max Temkin.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's
for
right.
Sure.
I love that guy.
Yeah.
You know what I love about that guy? His patented rants. That's my favorite.
I had a couple of funny news stories. You guys want to talk about some funny news stories?
Dig
News.
Dug.
This is from the Washington Post. DC. You guys remember there was the DC lawmaker who said that Jews control the weather.
Control the weather.
Wait,
it was
how
a
long
DC
ago was
council
this?
member Trayon White Sr. from the 8th Ward in DC.
Oh, wow.
He figured out a canny way to rehabilitate his reputation.
Yeah, that's right. So he went to the National Holocaust Museum and had some very choice quotes. The Washington Post was there, and they have some amazing quotes from him. So the guy who said that the Jews control the weather, they had some great quotes from him going through the Holocaust Museum. So in this one, he's looking at a photo exhibit. The photo taken in 1935 depicts a woman in a dark dress shuffling down a street in northern Germany. A large sign hangs from her neck. Quote, "I am a German girl and allowed myself to be defiled by a Jew," unquote. She is surrounded by Nazi stormtroopers. DC Councilmember Trayon White Sr. studied the image. Quote, "Are they protecting her?" Lynn Williams, an expert on educational programs at the U.S. Holocaust Museum and White's tour guide for the day, stared at the photo. "No," she said, "they are marching her through." "Marching through is protecting," White said. "I think they're humiliating her," Williams said.
Do you think he actually thought that?
I do.
The concern surged after the
I
Washington
mean, what
Post.
level of dumb are we addressing here? Did he actually look at that and think, "Oh, look at they're helping that nice German lady"? Or was he trying to cover his tracks?
I could not tell. I mean, I think it was a publicity thing, and he was trying to, maybe even trying to
Because he was
earnestly.
in the midst of doubling down on the no, you misunderstand me. I'm just saying Jews control the weather. It's nothing crazy. I'm not a nut. I'm not an incel. Oh, Max.
The museum allows photos for personal use, and the council member and his aides took many. As Williams explained the workings of the Nazi pseudoscientific race propaganda, White held up his cell phone before a poster with images of black, Native American, and Australian men titled Rassen der Erde, Races of the Earth. An aide took a shot of a pile of Torahs desecrated on Kristallnacht. The group paused before grainy photos of German troops executing Catholic clergy in Poland by firing squad. Quote, "Were they actually manufacturing these weapons?" White asked. Moments later, White was nowhere to be seen. The rabbi texted him. The rabbi was with the tour, texted him to ask about his whereabouts, and White wrote back that he hoped to see her outside the museum, but he had to leave soon for an event in Ward 8. The tour, scheduled past 90 minutes, was halfway done. 7 of White's staff stayed with the guide, who was then showing them an exhibit of the Warsaw Ghetto. As she explained the wailing in front of Polish Jews, one aide asked whether it was similar to a, quote, gated community. "Yeah, I wouldn't call it a gated community," she said, "more like a prison." And then there's one more great detail.
Very bad.
The tour over, the rabbi praised White for being, quote, "very sincere in wanting to come here, but she was perplexed by his abrupt exit. I do not know what happened. I find it confusing," she said. White, it turned out, was standing alone on the sidewalk outside the museum. Quote, "I'll be coming back to see more of the museum. I didn't get a chance to see the whole thing," he said. "But I think it's a lot of education here, a lot of synergy here between what happened in the Jewish community and the African community." Asked why he left the tour halfway and where he went, he said nothing and held his cell phone to his ear.
Definitely talking on the phone. Hello, person on the phone call.
Merlin, you really pioneered the technology. You just hold your wallet up to your face. Hello, what?
Oh, hang on. I gotta take this. Yeah. No, the chains are so little for the kids. Yeah. No, it's not. I know. I wouldn't get on an eastbound train either. No. What? No, the eastbound train. Train is going. I literally can't hear anything you're saying. All aboard. Anyways,
Not good. Not good.
Fuck. Not good. Very bad. We saw Bert and Ernie when we were there.
Oh.
At the
We saw
Holocaust
the original
Museum?
Bert and Ernie. What's that?
At the Holocaust Museum?
I mean, they are
At
gay.
Ellis Island, he changed his name from Erniewicz.
They have little pink triangles in the clothes. Oh.
Rubber ducky, joy of joys, when I squeeze you make noise.
Put an 8-track in me.
Well, Ernie, you've really done it this time.
You're a bad puppet. You're a dirty little puppet.
Dig Doug, Max, you had an interesting visit with a bookman the other day.
Bookman? What are you talking about?
Comey, whose first name I learned was James.
Oh, James Comey, right. Oh, yeah. I went to see James Comey speak.
Did you want him to smash your pussy?
Oh, I was hoping he'd hit those back walls. I don't know.
He's so tall.
I mean, why did I go?
My God, he's so fucking honorable.
I got a
More
call.
than just blast me.
I got a call at the last minute, and someone offered me like a VIP ticket to go see Comey at this book talk he was doing.
Cool.
And I don't know. I don't know why I went. Number one, I just wanted to see how tall he was, and two, I don't know. I just wanted to see what he was like in person in the audience. I just don't know. I was just curious. I thought maybe there'd be a funny story for Do by Friday, but there really wasn't. I mean, the man, I honestly, he was I found him to be a really good public speaker. He was very comfortable in front of the crowd. He's very well spoken. He's pretty funny. He got plenty of laughs, and one of the most interesting things he talked about was his book, he fancies himself like a leadership guy, and he has a lot of like values-based leadership kind of Tim Ferriss-y bullshit in this book. And he wanted to write a business book, but he knew he had to talk about how big Trump's hands were or whatever. So it's a business book, but autobiographical. I haven't read the book. I just heard him talk about it. And I don't know. He one of the interesting things he talked about is he said, how he had a great story of when he was briefing Obama with the national security director and a bunch of other people on the dossier, the Trump dossier. Obama was like, "So we're going to probably have to brief the president-elect on this," meaning Trump. And the national security director spoke up and said, "Oh, well, I think this is a perfect role for Director Comey because he has good personal skills and he's familiar with the material and all of that." And he just was throwing the guy under the bus. And I guess it was kind of a tense moment. But then Obama looked over at Comey and just sort of wiggled his eyebrows at him, and then it was funny and sort of let the tension out. And Comey was a lot of praise for Obama, and he talked about how Obama used humor in leadership. But he was like, an interesting thing about Trump is that the man's never told a joke, and I've never seen him laugh. So it's just, it was an interesting. We've talked about that in this program, but it is an interesting contrast. That he, as he put it, if you don't ever laugh, that maybe you're lacking a certain confidence or something like that.
Yeah, it's something a number of people.
Then I just exude confidence. I don't know if I follow that.
Laughter in some ways. If you're somebody who's, I think we all try to find some way to be able to laugh at our foibles but that requires an awareness of your foibles, at least as you understand them, and the ability to kind of own up to them, and the fact that it makes you a little bit human that you're weird in this way. And we're not all great at that all the time about all the things. Everybody's touchy about some stuff, but I think that's a really interesting observation. Is he does that. I don't even want to call it a smile. He does this thing that's almost a grimace, where he just pulls his mouth very far back with slight curves on the sides, it's really chilling. But he does not laugh.
He looks like Venom.
At anything.
Oh God! Oh no! You're right. You're
Venom
right.
in the new trailer.
No.
Oh, he kind of does. I've just put in notes. I've enjoyed hearing him talk. I think he's an interesting character. I think one thing to point out about him, this is not a criticism, but just a note, is that simply because he is low key and open in many ways, doesn't mean it's not a brand. I think he's very. If you've heard, I've heard many interviews with him in the last couple of weeks.
You're talking about Comey.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I think he's very on brand. This happened with the guy who did that mindfulness book a while back, where when you listen to enough interviews with somebody talking about their book, you get to hear their kind of what they know are their laugh lines, and they know stuff like that. Not because I want to see a gotcha, but just because it's an interesting contrast. There have been some interviews that are better than others at kind of pushing past the stock answer for how he handled things. And for that, I want to really recommend a longer than usual episode of Michael Barbero's The Daily from Friday, April 20th was a very good interview.
You could tell that he was. Well, what was weird is he wasn't exactly digging, like pushing too hard for questions, but he wasn't.
He's very general about it, but he would not settle for what Comey clearly thought was the answer.
It was very weird in a
so you heard
good
it?
way.
You know, we were right in the VIP, right in the front, like front 4 or 5 rows, right in the VIP
in the
section,
splash zone.
in the Gallagher splash zone, in this huge auditorium. And I thought, you know, if there's any chance that they're going to do audience questions, I might jump up and ask a question, which is not really my style. Like if we go to like
What's the
panels or
federal
whatever.
prosecutor do?
What does a federal prosecutor? Right, exactly. What does the FBI director do? But I had I composed this whole question in my mind, and I was sat by the aisle even so I could get out to where I thought they'd put the microphone out. The question I was going to ask him is, you know, Mr. Comey, we've heard that you know, you released the info on the Hillary investigation a week before the election, and that if you could go back, you wouldn't do it any other way because it was the least bad option. But a lot of people have criticized you for not. You know, that you did that with the logic of informing the American voters, but a lot of people have criticized you for not also releasing the information at the same time that the Trump campaign was also under FBI investigation for different issues. So the American voters did go to the polls and they weren't well educated. So my question to you is, how tall are you?
Oh my God.
Can I get a picture next to you?
Yeah.
Can I give you a hug?
Cute. You look like a baby.
Can I put my hand up to yours just for reference so that I could tell?
Oh my God, your hand is really big.
Yeah.
He
is a huge man.
One of his most.
He is fucking enormous.
He's bigger than you even think. Like when you see him walking down a hallway, he is half a person taller than everyone next to him.
It's startling. I mean, it was amazing. Like when he
He's
came
a
out,
large man.
when he came out, he didn't speak at the podium because it wouldn't have done anything for him. It would have been like it would have been like me standing in front of an ottoman, and
Gentlemen, I have some prepared remarks.
he just sort of stood in front of the crowd and.
It's so cute if you talk about it.
But there were these kind of designy chairs behind him, and I just kept looking at him in scale next to the chair, and I was like, this man he's fucking enormous. He is so big. He's a big, tall man.
He's a very tall man. And one thing that he said that like I feel like he really got it right in the strike zone with one answer that is probably one of his most controversial answers, but I think it feels honest. It was the thing of him saying, I don't know. I mean, when he finally came out and said, you know what? One reason that we did it the way we did it is we all thought she was going to win.
Right.
And if we would have done this differently, if we thought, I felt that was like, maybe I'm wrong, maybe I'm being naive, but I feel like that's a revealing and honest answer, which is, you know what? The truth is, every job is political in Washington. No matter where you work, everything is political.
It also, I can't believe I'm going to get back into this, but it does bring up a frustration I had with the Clinton campaign that I still think was genuinely very unfair to Hillary.
As they say here for this, Max.
It was just the different standards that they had for the campaign, right? It's like, well, because they thought Hillary was going to win, they talked about her investigation, but because they thought Trump was going to lose, they didn't talk about his investigation. And I agree with you. That is an honest. I completely agree with you. That's, whether you like it or not, that's what happened, right? It was part of their thinking. It was every expert.
It would have looked really bad if he hadn't done it that way.
And then she won.
It would have looked really bad.
Yeah, no question. It was part of their math. I don't even know that he was wrong to take it into account. It just. I know that it's true. I mean, I agree with you. That is a revealing, honest, real answer. But it's not fair. It's just not fair. It's not fair. You don't get a pass on not having the voters here. If the standard they're creating is the voters get to know if you're under investigation for something, you don't get a pass because they think you're going to lose. Like the reality of what happened in that race was you had one guy who was really unqualified and a criminal, and one candidate who did have flaws, but the reality of it is that they were much more minor, and it just wasn't fair. It just wasn't fair that those investigations and those flaws were not talked about in scale,
equally enforced,
in scale of each other, right? I mean, the Hillary emails was a real issue. I think voters had a right to know about it, and they had a right to care about it. It really was bad judgment and showed bad foresight on her part. It was poorly handled. There were lots of things that were wrong about it. Was it worse than any of the things on the Trump campaign? No, it dwarfed in scale.
Because we've gotten so used to, even at that point, we were so used to how screwed up that whole campaign and his entire life is.
Right.
I have a very slight thing here, and we can move on. But I mean, I think time has passed, and we can be somewhat honest about the numerous issues with the Clinton campaign. I think we could probably talk about that. I'd rather not, but I will say this, and this is a
read
parent's
her
point of view.
book.
What's that?
People can read her book.
But here's a parent's point of view on this, is that when you're a parent, like no matter how well, and this is true really of, let's say, anybody in authority, maybe. This is true for teachers. It's true for anybody where there is a power differential that involves, like, you've got to do what I say. And like, no matter how consistent a parent is, they're still gonna make mistakes, but they're held to a much higher standard of getting it right. You don't get to leave your kid locked in the hot car 5 times. You are held to a standard that, like, you know, you're going to be called on the carpet if you get big stuff wrong, and you're going to be suspected of getting small stuff wrong all the time. On the other hand, you get a 2 or 3 year old kid, and a 2 or 3 year old kid, you're constantly you're pumping them up. They're still in that period where, like, they might still be sleeping with you, and like they're very vulnerable. And when they're able to get their shoes and socks on, like, you're really excited. They got their slip-on shoes on all by themselves, and you only had to ask them 5 times. And it's not even fair to compare those two, because you're a grown-ass person, and this is a little person who's still learning about the world. You can see where I'm going with this. It's frustrating to me to this day that she was held to something beyond a parental standard for everything that she potentially got wrong. It was an indication of how broken the entire system is. And like that still continues to this day. And the running joke on political Twitter is, wow, it sounds like she's probably not going to get reelected. She's in so much trouble. Mm-hmm. Whereas I feel like, and I know this is obvious, but this is the parent's perspective, I feel like he is still, for being a 71-year-old man, he still gets the breaks of a 2-year-old. And if he manages to get his big boy shoes on before school starts, you do little claps. Mm-hmm. And it still drives me crazy to this day that even though she lost the election, they're still dragging her over the coals for this standard that, like, well, of course she was going to win. And look, she didn't. Nah, the kids run the school now, 400 blows. And it's like, oh, fuck. It still bugs me. I think her campaign was a mess. I think the picture of privilege of all of these generations of Ivy League people, that fucking photo with George H.W. Bush that everybody was so excited about, anyway, I'm not the hugest fan of hers. I think she could have done a lot better, but it still drives me crazy that she, maybe because she's a woman, definitely because she's a Clinton, still gets held to that standard to this day of being the super parent. And if he can go a day without soiling his big boy diaper, like, everybody turns around to say this is the day he
truly became the president.
It still makes me
today.
Crazy.
Yeah. The first time I heard, oh, he truly looked presidential, I vomited in my mouth.
The other thing is, like, there was a report out this week that now Trump, in order to get around John Kelly and, like, circumvent John Kelly's control of his schedule, he's using his personal cell phone more and more. Mm-hmm. And there was that, I don't know who made this joke on political Twitter, but someone's like, boy, I wonder how that's going to play with Trump's base of, like, government IT security enforcement enthusiasts. Because that was the defining issue of the election, and at the Republican convention, you had all these chants of lock her up and all of that, and it was a huge issue. They were like, Hillary improperly.
The implications of that server in her basement. Oh my God.
I want to know what IMAX she used still.
Right. It's just that these are, the whole Trump base, one of their big issues is that classified and private information being handled correctly according to government IT policy. And, I think they're going to be really shocked to find out that it's not being handled correctly in the Trump administration. Mm-hmm. They're going to have to rethink who they vote for in the upcoming election. I think we all know how that's going to go.
But now QAnon has noted the white hats. So the drop is coming any day now.
Okay, good. Good to know.
Mm-hmm. You keeping up on QAnon?
No.
The white hats. Get it? White hats.
Yep.
Get it?
Yep.
Melania.
Yep.
All right. I have
Allison Mack. Pizzagate. Are you seeing this?
Yep. The ping pong balls are white, and yep. It's
ping
all
pong balls
together.
are white. Hats are white.
Yep. Bed sheets.
I think we should. I have our guest for the after show joining us at the 30-minute mark of this hour. Or I asked them to join. So I think we should get to the. I think we should go to try and get to the challenge. And I just had one other piece of follow up, which is I do want to apologize to our listeners for the posts that were found on my old blog, and I just want to say that I didn't write them. Mm-hmm. Hackers put them there, and then they infiltrated the Internet Archive and put those posts on the Internet Archive. And
Max, do you have any idea who did that to you? Who changed your noble words to being so horrible and hateful? Who would do that to the Internet Archive to make you look bad? Do you have any sense at all of who did that?
I don't know. I mean, I would say that it's people who are scared of the truth that I have to tell, Merlin, and they're just trying to bring me down. Yeah.
Do you think they're scared of your giant hog?
Oh, anything. It could be so many things that they're scared of. But now I don't know how they got into the Internet Archive and the Wayback Machine to change those posts. I don't know how they infiltrated my blog, but rest assured that did happen, and I'm not responsible for anything that I've ever written in the past.
Digga, challenge. This week's challenge is whose?
I've been told on Twitter that it is your challenge.
Digga, challenge. This week I heard it's my challenge, and the challenge was we love bags, and so this week's challenge was to get yourself a new bag. Did you guys get new bags?
I did.
Sort of.
All right, Max,
I feel like you maybe have the most to say about this, Alex.
Oh my God, so much.
I like the ones where you prepare.
It's so. It's
Why are you
so
making noises?
hard.
It's bags. Bags are good.
No,
We
they're
like bags.
so hard. It's so they're. There's our friend in the show, Sarush. He emailed me one time when I was having another stressful time about trying to pick out the perfect backpack. And he emailed me, and then it later became a blog post that's basically, this is a doomed quest. You're never going to find a bag for everything. And I'm in denial. I want to have a bag for everything.
What is the problem with the Tom Bin bag that we both love?
So here, okay, I will get to that. My favorite backpack in the world was a Timbuktu. I couldn't even find the name for it because I had it so long that it's been discontinued. It's just one of those like black flip over things that had like the perfect amount of pockets. It had a water bottle holder, and it was just wonderful. And then it finally came apart. And Timbuktu, to their credit,
Is that one it's a little bit like not a briefcase, but it's not like a classic messenger bag, but it's I had one like that. Is it that kind of thing? It's more like a grown up person's bag.
I would actually say it's kind of like a mix of a hipster and a messenger bag with straps, essentially, to put on your back. Does that make sense? I'll try to find the link to something that's similar to it. But that fell apart, and Timbuktu does have a lifetime warranty, but they were like, we will replace this, but it will have to be a different bag. And then my heart was broken. And since that time, I'll
tell you a secret: they're not as good as they used to be.
They aren't. They're so bad, Merlin. They
you do the mission
overseas instead of ladies in the mission.
Oh no, wait.
The ladies in the mission bags were baller.
They were
First time I ordered a
amazing.
Timbuktu bag, I did a custom bespoke bag, and it was practically bulletproof. It was so well made.
I had that bag since. I had it through my maybe senior year of high school up until maybe last year. So like 10 years of this bag.
There are people using Timbuktu bags from the 90s.
And they look better.
They are great bags.
They are so much better than what is out now. So then as an adult where I have some money and I can spend money on bags, I bought the Tom Bin Synapse 19, which is the bag then Max got. And so we had matching bags for a while.
Why does that? Who cares?
People pointed it out all the time, and I'm like,
What? Who pointed it out? Who gives a shit?
Jen, Trin, Tom, Kevin.
Who
Kevin
cares what they
Budnick.
Yeah, who cares?
No, it wasn't.
They're not on the show.
It wasn't just that. It was that there is the back is this soft mesh. And if you have too many sharp things, it starts to protrude into your back.
How many sharp things do you carry day to day?
You have open switchblades in your backpack and like needles and stuff?
Are you a machete girl?
Oh boy, think about like there's the laptop, and then think about the DI boxes that have to go in there. Sometimes we have to bring mics. Basically, this bag wasn't good for work, essentially. Like going to and from the office, yes. Going to like an event, not so much. So then I got what is the Peak? Oh, I'm gonna get. So, Merlin, are you familiar with the Peak Design bag?
I just looked at your link.
I do not like that thing. It looks like some sort of alien carapace going over your body. Do you guys watch The Good Place?
Yes.
You look like the judge in The Good Place when he gets emotional.
I'm kind of. I'm okay with that. That's kind of what I do.
Kevin from Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
Veronica finally. Veronica's been on my case to watch The Good Place for years, and I watched the pilot and maybe one other episode, and I was like, I don't know.
You gotta binge it. If you binge it, it's so much fun.
And so finally,
It's Arrested
finally I
Development.
did.
In that world,
Finally,
stay
I
in that
did,
world.
and holy shit, was I missing out? Is that
Isn't it satisfying?
Oh my God. I mean, it really clicked for me in the first season finale, obviously, is like I know that's really obnoxious to say, but
I called it.
It's not a bad
How much
show.
do you love Jason, though?
Yeah.
I like the Janet.
The flashback when he gets locked in the vault. It's so good.
Oh.
I love Janet so much, and she's so subtle in that role. The way
know.
she becomes a little bit more human, and she's so subtle.
That show works on so many levels, and it's a good to watch. But I would compare it almost to Parks and Rec in that, like, the first season of Parks and Rec is not. It's like okay, but it's not great. And you sort of have to with like
It's not.
Brandanowitz
No, I
and the
agree.
whole and everything. But like Parks and Rec like comes alive in the second season, and oh my God, The Good Place, like.
But The Good Place also,
thought it was
for a
perfect
philosophy boy
first
like
season.
you, I mean,
Yeah.
I know that they're
That's
doing
actually somewhat of a turnoff for me, but
I
I think
was
it's
gonna say,
I think it's like fine. I don't have any big.
But you don't
beef.
think the idea of talking about like what is good and having a good life, you don't think that's I think it's handled kind of well, and it's definitely. I'm
I
not
don't wanna
saying it's
get
a
into a good-
philosophy class.
I wanna
but I'm
keep
saying
talking
for
about-
stuff on network TV, it's pretty thought provoking.
I would agree with that, and there's nothing wrong. It's not. It would drive me crazy if it was wrong, or if they only talked about the four most famous philosophers. But they are
You're
actually.
like an electrical contractor who can't go to movies if there's anything about electricity in it. That's not how it would
No,
be. That's not rated
I'm saying
for
that. I'm saying. Yeah, I'm saying. Well, there is the great story of Josh from Cards and I went to. I think I've told this story before, but we went to see the second Spider-Man movie where Spider-Man pushes Dr. Ock's artificial sun into the lake to extinguish it, and we were leaving the theater, and Josh was furious. He's like, "There wasn't enough steam. There would be more steam if they put a sun in the lake." And I was like,
This
"Josh,
is why I can't watch
Yeah.
The Graduate. Oh, really? That's the way you go across the Golden Gate Bridge? I don't think so.
it was like." I was leaving the theater with Josh. I was like, "Josh, it was a movie about a Spider-Man. It's a man who's a spider, and you're mad that there wasn't enough steam." When they pushed the artificial sun into the lake?
That sounds like it might be a fetish. I can see how other people would like it, but there wasn't enough steam.
No,
Why didn't they show her feet?
I think they.
That
I
would be
think.
more realistic if they showed her feet.
I think the philosophy is handled. Well, maybe we should just do a Good Place challenge, honestly. But I think the philosophy is handled well. But like the main thing that
I'm glad you like it.
I love it. It's just the main.
Do you
thing
agree
that,
about the binging part, though?
Yes,
It's like,
binge it. Go crazy. It's great.
it goes. First of all, the episode goes by so fast. I
Yes.
cannot believe that's even 22 minutes or whatever.
It
It
is
goes
so-
by so fast.
it's so
And then you wait a
watchable.
week, and the next one comes out. And it's like you got to get back into the world, and it seems too cheeky. If you binge them, I mean, even more so than a ton of shows on Netflix. Like, I think you could have a week between episodes of Wild Wild Country, and you would not lose the thread at all. Whereas with The Good Place, I feel like you need to really stay in that world.
Yeah, the main thing that's bugging me, and maybe they'll kind of address this. They did start to sort of address it on the edges in the second season. Is like, so the whole premise is there's this afterlife, and they judge whether people are good or bad. But by what standard are they doing that? Because it's a horrible system. It's like it's unjust and permanent, and I don't know. So it's like, what moral footing do these beings have to judge humanity when they're what is moral about their own system? So I hope that the show gets to that, but it's at the moment at least it's a sort of it's kind of just bugging me in the back of my mind when I watch it. It makes it weird. It just stands out to me of like, this whole thing sucks.
So this bag looks like a carapace.
Okay. I want to talk about my bags. The Peak Synapse it's a very hipstery bag. And at first, because Mr. Sandwich said that my bag was more aesthetically appealing than the Tombin Synapse 19.
What does
I was
he know?
like, yeah. I was like, oh yeah, I've won this.
Back
And
on Twitter, though.
It's super cool because it was designed as a camera bag, and there's like 3 inserts in it so that you can it's kind of like shelves within the bag. But the issue is there's no way to like compress it, so it will always be a big bug shell. There's no way to make it. Oh, look at the zippers are just so. Ugh. And the top has this cool
Is that
magnetic
good or bad,
clip.
that noise?
It's good. It's a good noise. But listen to this.
Oh.
No. I like it. Fine.
What is it? What is it noise?
It's a magnetic.
It's a magnetic clip.
I'm in another state.
It's a magnetic buckle mechanism that closes the bag, and it sort of slots itself into place.
Is it floppy?
No, it's not. Everything on the
like
bag is rigid.
It almost feels like manipulating a chain link, like chain. Like it's like a
little
little metal chainy thing, but it's magnetic, so it kind of snaps together into place. I'm not a fan.
I'm real stupid, Alex. So at this point, I'm not sure. So you sounds like you hate this bag or love this bag?
I have
this bag?
now
don't have a feeling about the bag?
I've now thrown it across the floor because I got really frustrated. I went to a small, the event that I talked about on Twitter where my credit card was shut off because I bought wine at a museum, which isn't that weird, people.
What museum?
The Chicago Design Museum, the one you made fun of me for going to. But this was an event where there were a ton of people with backpacks, but I was this one that had like a gigantic weird bulbous thing on my back. So then the other program we enjoy, the Accidental Tech Podcast, they have been talking about bags. And I think, you know what, I finally found my fetish because whenever that starts up, I'm like, yeah, get into it. So then I got the big boy Synapse. Listen to these zippers.
It's huge.
It is. Here's the thing.
It's so big.
It is very, very big. But
is it bigger than a brain bag?
That's if
No.
James Comey wore that backpack, he would look like me wearing my little backpack.
And so the best part of this though is I other than the fact that it fits, it's actually the same liter size as my Peak design bag, but it's just kind of like a big cavernous space. And it stopped my issue with the Synapse 19 because I bought this like plastic insert that makes a solid, like rigid back.
Oh, that's what that is.
Yeah,
I see.
yeah, that's what that thing is. And I've been able to fit. I have my laptop in here. I've got a Chromebook. I took my iPad out. I'm trying to make sound effects and it's not working.
You carry around 2 laptops and an iPad.
Not always, but look, here's my RX bars, my Kind bars.
Alex,
You can change the topic, but I don't understand why you carry 2 laptops and an iPad.
Recently, there are people in the company who are using Chromebooks. Remember how I was like, "Ooh, what if I use a Chromebook in the shower?" And I decided that I really like it, and I've just been troubleshooting some stuff. Ooh, the zippers are so satisfying. And the very
you lay out a life. Just a note from a friend.
Yep.
You lay out a life that is so unbelievably complex and unsolvable, and then at the very most basic question about why it's the way it is, your answers are so unsatisfying and not probative.
I've
The reason you have to carry all that shit in your backpack is because you wanted to use a laptop in the shower and you're troubleshooting for other people.
It's literally for my work.
but it's not though. There's no part of your job that requires you to
really
carry
not,
a Chromebook
Alex.
around.
No, okay,
in a
no,
backpack.
but
That's kind of a problem of your own design.
Fair. I could just leave it at work, but I remember I said I was going on a special date with my backpack, so I was just like
you're
walking
road
around.
testing.
Yeah, I was just walking around the city yesterday, and I was like, theoretically, let me fill this with all of the shit I would need. So the bottom compartment.
You're like one of these guys who
look at this.
jogs around the neighborhood with a backpack with a bandana on a backpack full
Yeah.
of rocks, and you're training.
I forgot to transfer my stuff.
Or maybe somebody who's like, I need a fanny pack. I need a bigger fanny pack. I need the world's largest fanny pack. This fanny pack's too heavy.
What's cool also is
Why are you? So wait, I'm still confused about why you're carrying a Chromebook around with you.
Because the other day, one of our head writers needed some help about how to connect some weird proprietary Bluetooth stuff. And I was like, I bet I can figure that out on mine. And then I did. So I brought it in because I just wanted to.
You brought your home Chromebook into work.
Yes.
Once.
To
solve their Bluetooth issue.
Yeah. It was for the experiment as well, because for example, at conventions, now I bring 2 laptops because I don't know if a keyboard is going to fail. And that's like an essential part of the show is having a laptop on stage. So, yeah.
Interesting.
And
okay.
it sucks, but that's
It's almost enough reason to buy the 2015 MacBook Pro.
Oh my God. We're
not talking about that though.
Nope, we're not. All right. So
you're frustrated with this bag?
It's very large, but
What is it that doesn't work? It's large, but it doesn't hold enough?
It does.
Or...
It holds enough now, but it's also got the issue of I feel like it's going to protrude too much. So I'm thinking about going back to the Synapse 19, but with the weird rigid, I forget what it's called. It's in notes, but there's like a rigid back to it so that when I'm stuffing like a bunch of clothes and protruding DI boxes,
interesting.
It won't hurt.
That's interesting though. The one I got might it's certainly never going to be okay aesthetically for you, but mine is really good at not being big when it doesn't need to be.
Oh, I also bought, Max, I think you'll, I bought a Fjallraven Kanken.
Oh, yes.
Which
Say the mouth words again.
Yeah,
Fjallraven
It's
Ramen?
the trendy, it's the
Fjallraven.
tiny little delicate bags for Japanese schoolgirls and hipsters.
well, actually,
and there's
Swedish.
A store on,
Swedish.
There's a store on Damon.
And it's so
Is this
stupid.
Heige?
It's
What?
so stupid. It's so stupid. Oh my god! I'm just
put a
looking at
link
it.
in. I don't know
I'm
what this
so
is.
mad. It's this tiny little bag that it was literally made for Swedish school children. And I'll put a link.
Okay,
in
then I'll
notes,
Google it if you
'cause
want to put the
I'm-
link in.
I can't-
Swedish school
I have
children bag.
laptops everywhere. I'm bleeding. My Kindle's out. My iPad is. Oh man.
Okay, Swedish school children bag.
Max has.
Is it
oh,
a
boy.
Konkaken? Is it Fjallraven?
Yeah, it's a
that's-
Fjallraven Kakenfraffen.
Oh, I've seen these around town. They have the
Yes.
logo.
They're
I've seen
so.
this.
I also think I bought a fake one because it was from. Oh no, this is real. Oh,
They have a store on Damon.
yeah, I got it from Amazon. But yeah, that's
Fjallraven.
getting rid of that one. But okay, I know that people are going to suggest a million different bags to us. I have some requirements. I want it to be less than 25 liters or less. It needs to have a compartment for your laptop. It also needs to have a compartment for a water bottle. That is very, very important
What are these
to me.
different tactical bottles that you have here? Can you they're on the other side.
I've
What are
got
these?
another thing. So my normal water bottle was a clean canteen from, I don't know, the wire cutter recommended it. But look at this guy. They
What is
also
this?
recommended a collapsible water bottle.
No.
So you
no,
can just smoosh
no,
it.
No.
And
this
it's
is
kinda
not happening.
hard. It's kind of hard to
Oh
smoosh.
my God.
But I love it.
Gimme.
It's so good.
Gimme,
Here,
gimme,
smoosh
gimme,
it,
gimme, gimme,
smoosh
gimme,
it.
gimme, gimme, gimme.
It's
Gimme, gimme, gimme.
Link.
Oh my
I've got
God.
them all. I didn't want to spoil it.
This is a fucking game changer.
Yes, isn't it great?
What is this?
Collapsible water
Pure
bottle.
BPA? What is this? What's
No,
it made of?
it's not. It is machine washable, which is the other thing I would prefer. This isn't a requirement.
Wait, does it actually collapse?
What's
though?
the brand
You
name?
gotta like really smoosh it in. I don't know. It's on the wire cutter.
Okay, listen,
It's on
just
the
so
wire
we're clear,
cutter.
I'm literally in another
I
state.
know.
I can't see what you're
I
looking
didn't
at. What is it
think-
called?
Max, what's it called?
It doesn't have a name on it. Oh wait, here we go. It's called the
Okay.
platypus.
I'll listen when you're done.
Yes.
It's called the platypus. It's called the platypus. I'm
Platypus
sorry, I
water
just
bottle.
got it myself, Merlin. I'm with you. I'm frustrated
I
too.
didn't think that everybody was gonna want to touch my
There
platypus.
are so many problems here that I just didn't know could be problems.
Okay, so it's
The contents of whose backpack has been
water
live photoed to me?
We're gonna get to that in a minute. That's my bullshit.
That's your Afrin.
That's my Afrin.
Holy shit, you got like a little dispensary in here.
Yeah, right.
You need my little North Face bags.
Oh yes. Well, that's the other thing.
Is that a checkbook?
Yeah.
Nice.
Why I have to write checks?
Oh no! Wait. Oh, okay.
You guys don't have. You guys don't carry a checkbook with you?
I would like to buy this platypus water bottle. Will you accept a personal check?
No, you guys.
This pen's from Japan.
Don't you guys have to write?
I have problems. Everything's confusing. My bag is weird.
Are we talking about me
You
now?
guys are so fucked up.
Are we talking about me now?
No, we're talking about both of you guys. You're a mess. You're one
Okay.
hot mess. You're
I
two
cannot,
miles of
Alex.
a
This
hot
does not
fucking
work
mess.
as
Yes,
advertised.
it does.
not.
No,
it does
okay,
not work.
Okay,
It doesn't
so
work.
even if you can't maneuver
you got
it
tile. You
into
got the tile
its,
sport.
I also have the tile sport. That is always in my
It
bag.
doesn't work. I'm telling you, it does not
God.
collapse.
How long have you been a tile user? Have you started getting the 1 year nastygrams yet?
Oh yes, I don't.
Jesus,
know
Alex,
how
I'm
to-
gonna
fuck. I'm ready to
collapse
just
this.
really. Oh, it's so frustrating.
Collapse it.
I will collapse it. You need the top half.
Talking about the platypus?
acts as sort of a container for
Yes,
it.
it's sort of okay. What is it? It looks like a fleshlight. It's this soft, rubbery tube,
I did
and
that
Alex
in
is
like
I'd
1
fuck
minute.
that.
Alex
Yeah.
is rolling it up like
Yeah.
a little.
Platypus Platy,
See?
2 liter, ultralight,
Yeah, see?
collapsible water bottle.
we just keep throwing.
No, I keep throwing it. You just huck it into the table, like you're trying to deny me a point in tennis.
15
It's more of a
love.
spike than a throw.
15 love.
I don't know if the extremity of my lifestyle will accommodate this. This looks like people who are very, very thirsty. They just need to really super hydrate.
You should have at least 6 liters of water every day. Do you
Don't worry,
drink?
I'm good.
You're fine? Okay.
Are you fucking kidding me?
This is a challenge that I
drink
wanted.
a
I want to do
12-pack
a
of
water
seltzer every day.
I want to drink a water tracking challenge.
Ugh.
All right. Max, would you like to
I've never
share?
been so glad to be old. These all sound like complete non-problems to me.
I don't. I use an app to track how much water I drink.
So do I. Yeah.
Yeah, that's good.
Okay, so I have the Tom Bin. What is it? What do I have, Alex?
Synapse 19.
Synapse 19.
The Synapse 19. It's the perfect backpack. It's the best bag I've ever owned. I have actually thought to myself, I should probably buy 2 or 3 of these, just because if they ever stop making it, I'll like have them. You know,
It's not too small, you don't think?
Not for my personal needs. So I just emptied out every item in my backpack. Every item is here.
Are those all loose in your backpack?
No, they are in different sections and
You have
compartments.
sub bags?
No, I have no sub bags. But what I like about the Synapse is there's a spot for everything. There's a little zippered pouch in the bag that holds all these things.
Okay.
The Synapse has enough internal organization that I could tell you with my eyes closed I could find any of these items in my bag.
Oh, that's really cool.
Yeah.
Wow.
So what do I have in my bag? I have my little twisty flashlight that turns into a glow stick, like an electronic glow stick kind of a thing. So if I'm ever... I use it sometimes in hotel rooms if I can't figure out how to work the lights or something like that. I don't know.
You can. I use my watch a lot for that, for what it's worth. Just like if you need a quickie, there's a flashlight on your watch.
Yep.
No.
Yep.
Oh.
Yeah. It's
I use
swipe
it almost
up.
every night, just for like little I don't want to fall on my face things.
Yep. Yeah, I do that
like
too.
that.
What do I have? I have a little, another one that I use all the time is I have this little multi-tool. It's an actual Leatherman brand of small multi-tool. No blade. So it's a pliers, a scissors, a nail file, a screwdriver. And I use that like when we go to conventions, like, oh my God, I use this constantly, opening boxes, fixing stuff, whatever.
Can you take that on a plane?
I can and I do.
Yes.
And it never gets stopped. I've never been stopped. I don't know if you're technically allowed to take it on a plane.
Is that in the picture?
Yeah, it's in there.
I see it. It's like a little guy.
It's tiny.
Oh, yeah. It opens up like for pliers?
Yep.
I have something like that. Those are great.
I
Those are
use
so
that.
great.
It comes in handy
Boy,
all the
doesn't
time.
it suck when they want to throw away your stuff? It's really frustrating.
I've never been busted personally with that.
For anything?
With that, no, not really.
I've had the most asinine stuff thrown.
I had
in the
hair.
bin.
They
Drives
threw out
me
a
nuts.
tin of hair product at LaGuardia one time, and I was like, "Really? You're gonna make me throw my hair product out?"
My wife got the giant pat down on our last trip and the smudging and everything, because even though she had less than 3 ounces of product in it, it was in a container that could accommodate more than 3 ounces, and so they threw it out.
Oh.
That's what I think that's what happened with me.
So stupid.
And then let's see, I've got my sanitary wipes, my checkbook, some iOS cables, lens wipes, Alka-Seltzer, iPhone charger.
Kyle, you got an HDMI thing.
For me, I always have 4 pens in my bag, and the Synapse has 4 little pen loops. So I have a highlighter.
Those are good. Those are pretty good pens.
Yeah, I have a Sharpie brand yellow highlighter. I have a
You ever
precise.
tried an IdentiPen?
A what?
IdentiPen?
IdentiPen. No, I'm going to look that up. I have a Pilot Precise V5 Extra Fine. I have the Sharpie for signing.
Now, who is it that uses that? Dan Harmon? No, who uses that pen? Somebody was it a war criminal? Somebody uses that pen, right? Did you find out that somebody weird uses your pen?
Slobodan Milosevic? I don't know.
Oh,
Slobodan Milosevic.
Steve Bannon uses that pen.
Does he?
Steve Bannon.
Yeah.
Oh, there we go. I have the Sharpie permanent marker, the Ultra Fine Point, which I use for signing. I used to use the
Love
regular
those.
Sharpies like a cup, and I'd
You
sign.
gotta check out the IdentiPen, buddy. I think it's right in your wheelhouse.
IdentiPen, and
gonna send
then
it
I
right
have
now.
another. This is a secret.
I buy multi-packs of
This
these.
is a secret proprietary Max Temkin patented technology that I've discovered. So this is sold on the Sharpie website and is called the Sharpie oil-based paint pen silver metallic. If you have anything in your life where you need to write on a black surface, like how I need to sign Cards Against Humanity boxes, you get one of these oil pens, you shake it up, and there's a little
Look at
shaker,
that.
and then it has a fine point. It has a fine point like the Sharpie, and you sign all day with this guy. I'll sign anything with this.
The IdentiPen is what pro golfers use to sign golf balls. It's that good. There's a big tip and a little tip, and it's they're real good and they're Japanese and cool.
Do I have to order it from the Sakura of America Corporation?
I buy 8 packs on Amazon.
Okay.
And I put them in the basket right here by the coffee maker. I want to never have a situation where there's not a black IdentiPen I can grab with my man hand. Please put the IdentiPens back in the basket.
All right. So the bag that I've got to play with is, I didn't buy it this week, but it's been sitting like in a closet for a while, and it's a Kickstarter project I backed a while back, and it's by a company. The Kickstarter project was by this company called LifePack, and this is called The Hustle. And it's a faux leather briefcase, it's like a man bag kind of a thing. Mm-hmm. And the
look at
fancy
that.
man
That's a
bag.
cute little tote.
it is pretty. I think it's pretty handsome. And the sort of killer feature is it has a.
It's like you're going to work with it.
Yeah, right?
So I got this because I thought maybe I would not want to take my little Tom Bin backpack to law school. It turns out it's fine, and no one.
Oh, it's bigger than I thought. Oh yeah, look at that. It's like a satchel.
It's a satchel. Yeah, I thought maybe this would be like more professional for law school stuff. Turns out I'm fine with my backpack, and I don't. It's not that it's appropriate. It's that I care less
I feel like
about.
there's an anti-backpack backlash right now, and I think it's weird.
I don't know. It's not that
It's been the political Twitter's been going through this like, oh, a grown man with a backpack, and it's like, really? It's such a shockingly efficient way to move around.
No,
feels like people who just watched Mad Men and they're like,
Yeah,
oh,
I agree, suck a dick. Because if you're in a city, like one of the things you need to learn, this is a very John Roderick thing, is that you need to act like you're always about to be attacked by a Dracula. You should always know that within a second of realizing a Dracula is coming your way, you should be able to grab the strap of something and start running without having to collect anything. Always keep all your stuff in the backpack. Take out one thing at a time. And people who are like, well, I like to really spread out when I make Starbucks. Let me open my briefcase. It's like, fuck that. This is the you need something that you can take on public transit and maybe use as a weapon. It's important. Life pack hustle.
Oh, that's
so
true. I could use mine as a weapon. Nice.
The special thing about the Life Pack is it's got a solar panel in it, and you can use it to charge your phone.
That's a little unaesthetic, but it's very clever.
I actually remember Max was like, "Is this ugly?" And I'm like, but I think it's hidden very. It's more discreet than you.
I
would
thought it was
think.
an Android phone that came with it.
Oh, what a!
It looks like it. Yeah, but that's cool. That's cool that it does that.
One thing.
Solar's the future, guys.
I have two questions for you, Max. One, do you have a duplicate like dongle bag that you keep for travel? So you just take the dongles with like the little tiny baby satchel with you, so you don't need to pack any cables or anything. And also, why do you have the straps on the back of your backpack? Have you ever once clipped them together? So these guys.
Can you take that off?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
I take everything off of these.
Didn't know those even came off.
Yeah.
So in terms of my dongles, I probably put an amount of thought into having the fewest number of cords with me. It really keeps me up at night, and I go to enormous
really get it right, not too much.
Yes,
not too much.
I go through enormous lengths to reduce the number. If I could carry one less thing in my pocket, I will spend like hundreds and hundreds of dollars. So I have all these different workarounds and solutions, but basically what I'm down to this is just today is I have the official Apple multi-port USB-C adapter with USB HDMI on it, the wide boy, the fat boy.
The incredibly expensive one that we just have to keep
and
buying.
Now I only carry one in my backpack, but I'll add that I have an extra one that I keep at my desk at work and an extra one that I keep at my desk at home. So the idea is that the one in my backpack, it's not my go-to. I'm not constantly taking it in and out of my backpack because that's how you lose it. So I have one everywhere I need one, and the one in my backpack is just there where I need it, where it's like, oops, I'm giving a presentation in class or something, and I need to plug into the HDMI. And guess what? I'm very confident that it's in that backpack.
It'll come up. Yep.
So then I carry the little iPhone headphone adapter because sometimes if you're traveling, I'm always worried.
Yeah, I keep that in a little mesh bag hanging inside. The little I might need this.
What a nightmare scenario! Like your Bluetooth headphones stop working on the airplane and you have no backup.
You're in a car,
yeah,
like where you don't want to do I don't like Bluetoothing to things. It freaks me out. I don't like connecting my car to like smart things. It just feels invasive to me.
And then I have one USB-C to Lightning cable because you just. I don't know. It comes up. I need it. And then I have my retractable.
It's so satisfying.
I have my retractable USB-C or no USB. It's the thin boy, the little tiny thin guy that every device charges with now. So I carry one of those and then a tile tracker, and that's it. I'm down to 3 or 4 cords.
I need. Oh God!
And then I'll add in my luggage. We've talked about this, but in my luggage, this is my number one life hack. In my luggage, I carry a 4-port USB pluggy boy. So it's the wall plug. And then
I've got an Anchor one of those.
Yeah, I have the Anchor 4-port.
I got the Anchor USB-C that goes to one USB-C and 4.
Yep. I have a similar thing, but instead of it ending in USB-C, it ends in a wall plug, basically. And plugged into it, I have an iPhone cable. I have a long.
You will be the hero. At some point, you will be the hero for having that.
Yeah, well, I'm my own hero because it just lives in my backpack, and I have an Apple Watch and an iPhone and an iPhone cable, and I don't even take it with me. It's in my suitcase. I go to the hotel, I plug it into the wall. When I leave the hotel, it goes back in the suitcase, and that's the only time it moves again. I'm not constantly taking it out and using it at conferences and using it in my house. No, it's my travel one.
I think
it's
I
always
learned
there.
that from you. I finally did that. I now have a separate travel Like if I have to go anywhere, but especially for traveling out of town overnight, I've got a complete extra set, a duplicate set of everything that's just always in my away bag, like ready to go. It's really smart.
That's what I do. Yeah.
I know everyone thinks that they have the best intentions. They're like, oh, I'm just going to use the USB-C adapter in my backpack, and I'll just take it out and use it all the time.
It's not there.
Yeah, you will leave it behind, and you will lose it.
My one thing, I gotta get rid of micro USB. Why can't everything just be USB-C? I know that there's a bunch of like...
We're getting there, but all my batteries, all my external batteries,
my
devices...
That's king of the castle.
So it's the worst. It's the worst. I miss mini USB. Like well, at least you could tell.
I got reversible. I bought those cables that are reversible at both ends.
What? Whoa.
Yeah, you can get them. So the USB-A is reversible. You can put it in any way, and the mini is reversible anyway. The micro, is reversible anyway.
No, the micro is not reversible anyway.
They make them
yes,
though.
It is.
They make. Oh my god. Oh well, there we go.
Let me ask you this: are you guys seriously don't carry checks with you?
No, I write like one check a year.
Just as a test pilot project, just sent me checks for the first time. I haven't had checks in 15 years.
I am constantly. I feel like I'm writing checks.
Simple lets you do online checks.
Maybe it's the whole nature of owning the business, but I feel like I'm writing.
No, I almost did make the joke because it's such an obvious joke. But yeah, for businesses you need that.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I feel like I write
first check in about 15 years last week.
I feel like I write one check a day. And it's given a lot of time. Also, like I go to a lot of fundraisers, I guess. So that's another case where I'm writing a lot of checks.
Why is that funny to me?
I don't know.
Of course I have my checkbook. I go to a lot of fundraisers. You're such a fancy duchess. Mine is really boring, and let's finish it so we can have our guest. This is mine. I really wanted to get the Synapse for which you guys have so much affection, but it just the time didn't work out to get it shipped. So I went on Amazon and I looked at backpacks, and this one came up. I'm stealing Valor. It's a military tactical backpack, small assault pack, army, moly bug out bag.
Assault pack? Hell yes.
It's a bug out bag. This is basically your small bag to pack. Now, it's deceptive in this photo because you're seeing it totally blown out. This thing is all about compression. So you've got, a lot of people out there don't understand. Like, first of all, I don't understand fucking hardly any of the things in this. I don't know what I'm supposed to hang on all of these loops. But what I do know is that once you become an urban person, you're going to love those compression things on the sides. So this has what I love on the brain bag as well. Not very pretty, but when you get it loaded, get it the way you want. Once your sweater is in there and your laptop and all the different shit, you've loaded it all the way up. You pull these things on the side, 2 straps on either side, 1 over the top, and you can compress it down real tight. And then you wear it hiked up real high on your back. And it becomes so much easier because it's way closer. It sounds dumb. I promise this makes a difference. It's way closer to your center of gravity, and it's much easier to walk around if you compress it all the way. So this has
it has
2 unnecessary straps in the front
smart,
for going around. Go to the 4th photo. And you get a better idea of how
this hustle pack, I'm trying to pack it up with all my bullshit right now.
Oh, no way.
And it's fucking useless. It only has 2 pen loops. What are you supposed to do with 2 pen loops?
Apple Pencil and regular
pencil.
Give
me 4. Give me 4. You need 4 pen
Who
loops.
uses 2 kinds of pencils? You need like 6 or 8.
I know.
I've got sign markers. I've got Sharpies. Pentel sign markers, man, they're the balls. But so one nice thing so there's lots to like about this. I'm going to get to my favorite thing about it at the end, but I love how you can unzip it all the way.
Oh, wow.
Pretty much in the back. That's actually really great for packing something up
Merlin,
sensibly.
this is the level 3 backpack in PUBG. You got a level 3 bag.
Oh.
Did I?
Yeah.
Got a level 3 bag on my
about
location. Does anyone need level 3? Anyone need level 3? Got a level 3 bag on my location. Anyone need level 3?
Nice.
Who's looking for a level 3 bag? I got a level 3 bag. I'm going to drop a marker. I got a level 3 bag in my position.
I feel like I should take off the Velcro flag patch because I might be stealing Valor. But a couple things I like about this. The front has 2 container pockets. The smaller one, just real easy to deal with. There's lots of pen loops and stuff. Pretty basic place, like mesh envelopey thing to stick a backpack or an iPad in the back. But and then a couple other things. If you unzip the very back, like where the straps are, you can put in a camel toe, and then you got hydration. You can have that in back there if you want to have water.
Merlin, on your IdentiPens, do you buy a multicolor set or do you only buy the blacks?
I used to just buy 2 packs of black, or African American, as you say. But now I tend to buy 4 or 8 packs in multicolors. Okay, so then the last couple things. So yeah, it's really cool. It's got you can see in the one, two, three, four, fifth photo, you see where it's got the little Velcro hole? Yes. You're having your camel toe come out so you get your hydration.
Oh, Camelback. There we go. People don't know these references. Okay, proceed. I apologize.
The price? $38.
That is the part that's blowing my mind, actually.
It's completely fucking blowing my mind. The first time I paid $200 for a backpack, I felt like I had really reached a new low. Like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
But that's like kind of normal. I think this is less than my first JanSport. I can't believe this backpack was $38.
Do you think this is going to fall? This seems like a thing where the straps will fray eventually and like the top part will fall out.
For $38, I can handle it. 4.5 stars.
That's fair.
And it's not technically like a military grade because the straps are too close, but I don't understand how do we even do with all these fucking loops. It's got Velcro on it, so you can Velcro shit to the front.
Oh my God.
I was really amazed. And this is the one, the backpack for which, you know what, Max? Maybe that's why they wouldn't let me in the movie theater.
Wait.
This kind of does look like
Is that really what you brought into the movie theater? That's the exact bag you brought?
And then you fought
It's
with
a fucking military bag,
God.
Merlin. You definitely look like you're going to kidnap a child.
It would have to be a small child and I would need to fold it, but I could put it in the bug out bag.
No, you would just have to chop them up. It could be a normal sized child. Oh my God. Yeah, you put the torso in the back and then the extremities in the second pouch and then the head at the very front. Wow.
Merlin.
Sir, I am a veteran. You must let me into Isle of Dogs. See my patch?
I've specifically selected this movie because I think there's going to be a lot of children that are the right size where I can fit them into my giant bag.
I'm a veteran, sir. I serve with honor.
Sir, the trick to chopping up a child, you got to compress it so that it sits on your center of gravity
Sir,
well.
I will buy your popcorn and accommodate your drinks before I cut the kid up into tiny pieces and put them in my tactical backpack.
This is Due by Friday, a weekly challenge podcast with Merlin Man. This is why I don't record it when people are in here.
No, do it. Take two.
This is Due by
Friday. Intro recording. Take two.
This is Due by Friday, a weekly challenge podcast with Merlin Man, Alex Cox.
Alex, dinner's ready.
This is Due.
I didn't even do anything that time.
The end. That's it works. It works.